Good morning friend. We are discussing about the Vision IS 5 daily question answer. Let's discuss the first question. First question is regarding the, you can correlate it with the international relation at the same point of the time, cultural history of India. Let's discuss the first question. First question is talking about like that. What were the major reason for the spread of Indian culture in Southeast Asia? So before reading all the options that are given, I am asking about what is the feature of the Indian culture? What is the feature of the Indian culture? The feature of Indian culture is that the joint family, religious, ritualistic and irrational, you can say that, and the main feature is like that only. And how we can correlate it with the Southeast Asia, or mainly Sri Lanka also you can correlate, Bhutan, Nepal also. It's not like that Southeast Asia. Let's see the option here. Now first is the spread of Buddhism by Indian missionaries. It means that the Indian missionaries are sent to these countries so that the Buddhism can be spread. Number second option is establishment of the overseas colonies by Indian rule. It means that, for example, if you are talking about in South India, Rajendra Raja first, you are listening about these rulers. They are conquered the Sri Lanka and the southeastern part of the Malaysia and the Indonesia at the point that they are living. The option in front of you are the first, second, both first and second, neither one, neither two. So you have to choose the correct option from these 2 points. Let's discuss the next question. Next question correlated with the modern history session. Okay. Second question, which among the following were not part of the Lucknow Congress session of 1916? It means that the 1916 Lucknow session are organized, but what is the not feature of the Lucknow session that they are pondering upon the thing at that point of time by the INC leader? In the first option they are giving, number first is the read mission of extremities to Congress. Number second, it means that they are admitted the extremist. For example, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, I think so. Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandra Pal, you can say, and Aurobindo Ghosh at the same point of time. Number second, acceptance of the separate electorate by the Congress. It means that the separate electorates that are given specifically to the Muslim leaders or Muslim at general, and that are accepted by the Congress and recognized by the Congress at that point of time in the session of 1916 of Lucknow session. Number third, demand for majority of Indian membership in the Viceroy and the provincial governor executive council. It means that they are demanding what Viceroy should be an Indian, or the Viceroy cabinet should include Indian. So you have to choose the correct option, and that is the feature of the Lucknow Congress session. See, all these happen in the history, that is true, but what is the feature, what is recognized in 1916 of the Lucknow Congress? So you have to choose the correct option, or the option in front of you are. Number third question, if you are talking about the, you can correlate it with the polity session and article 32 specifically. Number first, okay, with reference to its writs of prohibition and sorcery, consider the following statement. Number first option in front of you are, both the writ can be issued only against the judicial and quasi-judicial authority. It means that we can issue the writ against judicial and quasi-judicial authorities in case of the prohibition and sorcery. Number second, writ of prohibition is issued under the or before the order is made, while the writ of sorcery is used only after the order has been made. It means that the prohibition is making when the order is there, that is order, and before making that order, and the judiciary think like that it may make the order by the tribunal or any other, you can take the example, then it before making the order, the whole prohibition can be talked by the judiciary. Number second, if you are talking about the sorcery, is it the judicial or the authority or whatever, the administrative and public and private, they take the decision, and to annul that decision, the judiciary use the sorcery. So you have to choose the correct option from these options. First and second, neither one, neither two. Let's discuss the next question. Next question can correlate it with the environmental section. Consider the following statement regarding the cold water corals. It means that the cold water corals also found, but at the same point of time, hot water corals also found. For example, northwestern region and barrier reef found there, and that are made up of the hot water corals itself. Number first statement, like warm water coral, cold water coral do not need sunlight to survive. It means that the warm water take the sunlight, but they are not needed, so that's why they cold and remain in the cold water. Number second, cold water corals do not form coral reef. It means that they do not form the coral reef. Number third, they inhabit the ocean only near the surface. It means that the ocean water, they are above the shallow range, so that they can survive the better. So you have to choose the correct option, and that is regarding the cold water reef or coral. Number fourth, fifth question, I think. Which of the following can be effect of an unanticipated inflation? Okay, it means that the inflation what resulted into. Now, first option in front of you are debtor benefit in the economy. That this question are already asked in the UPSC, so you have make your conscious mind and then give the answer. Debtor benefit in the economy. Number second, net export to fall. It means that the export here falls. Number third, long term projection in the economy suffer. It means that if the inflation is much more, but the economy at large or in the long term might be suffered. So you have to choose the correct option in front of you. Let's discuss the answer of the first question. First question, that is what were the major reason for the Indian culture to spread in Southeast Asia? Spread of Buddhism by Indian missionaries and establishment of the overseas colonies by Indian rulers. So both are correct. I gave you example of the Raja also. Let's see how the vision are explaining these things. Number first, from the beginning of the Christian era onward, Indian maintained commercial contact with the China, Southeast Asia, West Asia, Central Asia, and Roman Empire. At that point of time, Indian culture also spread in Southeast Asia throughout the medium of the Buddhism. Buddhism promoted India's contact with Sri Lanka, Myanmar, China, Central Asia also. So first statement is correct. For example, 1st century AD onward, and at that point of time, Christian entered into our subcontinent. India established a close trading relation with the Java in Indonesia, which was called the Survana Dvipa, or the island of gold, by the ancient Indian. Early kingdom like Pallava founded their colonies in Indonesia. Pallava, they take their route to that Indonesia. The earliest Indian settlement in Java were the establishment in 56 AD. In the 2nd century of the Christian era, several small Indian principality was set up there. Eventually, these flowed into the kingdom of the Sri Vijaya, which continued to be an important power and a center of Indian culture from the 5th to the 10th century. The Indian settlement in Java and Sumatra became channel for the radiation of Indian culture. So, second statement is also correct. Chinese pilgrimage fast, and that also be the important role played by these persons, so that our culture can be promoted, has decided to Brahminical religion relevant in Java in his writing. Second question, if you are talking about what is the correct statement, what is the part of the Lucknow Congress session of 1960, not a part, sorry, I am really sorry. Readmission of the extremities to Congress, that also correct. Acceptance to separate, that is the backward point, that is not, should not be there, but that occurred at that point of time. The Congress, who are the umbrella term of all the ethnicity that at point of time, in which they included the Muslims, Sikhs, Jains, etc., Hindu obviously, but they are recognized the Muslim League and separate entity specifically for the Muslim. That is the wrong. I think that should be not there, that we could not say that, categorize it as wrong, but at this session they recognize the Muslim League there. Number third, demand for majority of Indian membership in the that is not the case here. I think that is the case of 1909. Let's see the correct option. Correct option is 3. What the explanation of vision? The Lucknow session of the Indian Congress, presided by the Ambika Charan Majumdar, finally readmitted the extremity. For example, Bal Gangadhar Tilak admitted here. The Congress and the Muslim League signed the Lucknow Pact. That means that is historical, and the question is asked because of the Congress and Muslim here are united, where Congress accepted separate electorate for Muslim despite being a controversial decision. The acceptance of the principle of the separate electorate represented a serious desire to ally minority fear of the majority domination. It means that we are not only recognize the Muslim, but we are recognize the fear of the Muslim or the minority community in the whole umbrella term of the Hindu society. We can say that the Indian subcontinent that dominantly found there. For example, if you are talking about the Nepal, where also Hinduism found. Bhutan, you can go there, Buddhism and Jainism and Hinduism equally proportional you can found there. And what is the size of the Bhutan? That is a much more smaller entity. I think the whole northeast make 5 or 6 Bhutan from by cutting into slice. So both the first and second are correct. One of the joint demand of the Congress and the Muslim League at that point of time is the member of the Vice Executive Council should be the Indian. So third statement is not correct. Let's see the next question. Next question, if you are talking about the sorcery, date of prohibition is to be before the order is made. Before the order, for example, that is order. Before the order is made, we are issued prohibition. But after the order is made, we are, or the judiciary are issued the sorcery, so that we can make a separation of power more effective. Number second, both the writ can be issued only against the judicial and the quasi-judicial authority. No, the prohibition and sorcery who make the order, that is the judicial body, not the quasi-judicial body. So that is wrong. Let's see the explanation from the reason itself. So, first statement is not correct because both the writ of prohibition could be issued only against the judicial and quasi-judicial authorities. But later judgment in case of the writ of certiorari obliterated the distinction between the administrative and quasi-judicial. It means that there is a quasi-judicial body and judicial body. In general, they can issue both against. But at the point of time of the certiorari, in which they are focusedly more on administrative body. This means that the court may quash the so-called administrative decision by the means of writ of certiorari. Writ of certiorari can be issued even against the administrative authority affecting the right of the individual. So, second is correct. There is a fundamental distinction between the writ of prohibition and the certiorari. They are issued at different stages of proceeding. It means that it are issued when the proceeding of any of the law rule by the administrative or the judicial authority are taken place. So, thus the central court may interfere here. The person against whom hearing is taken can move the superior court. Yes, that is correct. And what is the main feature of the fundamental right? That whenever the fundamental right is taken by any of the public authority or the government in general, the Supreme Court or the judicial can interfere in it. On the other hand, if the court hears the matter and gives the decision, the party would not need to move to superior court to carry the decision. So, you can see the here. Okay, let's see the next question. Next question I think itna bada hai yaar. Consider the following statement about the cold water. Number first, unlike the warm water, cold water coral do not need, they do not need sunlight. For if they not need sunlight, then how they survive? They can survive, then they can take the oxygen or mineral from the rock thereby, so they did not need to depend upon the sunlight. So, first is correct. Cold water coral do not form coral reef. That is completely comprehensive. No. Because cold water also make their colony. And what is the coral reef? Coral reef is nothing but the colony of the corals. So, second is incorrect. Although their dependence on the sunlight and the extra environment is less, but they deep down the ocean, you find many varieties of the coral reef there. They inhabit the ocean only near the surface. That is wrong, because they are deep found in the ocean, because their dependency on the sunlight is less, but their dependency on the rock is more. So, they are found near the rock. And where we can find the rock? In the deep ocean trench area. So, third is also not correct. Let's see, you can see. Many of the known coral reef that today we are talking about, that origin is because of the environmental change and the sunlight implication, and the pH of that area is changing. So, we are here about the warm coral reef, but it does not mean the cold water reef are not found in the oceans or the environment. See. I can explain you. Okay, chalo. Many of the known coral reef exist in the dark cold water of the deep sea. These coral referred to as the deep sea or cold water coral from complex structure that provide shelter and food for the vast number of fish and invertebrate species also. First is correct, because unlike tropical coral, cold water corals do not have symbiotic algae which living in their polyps, so they do not need sunlight to survive. They feed solely by capturing food particles from the surrounding water itself. Then they are not needed the other sunlight. So, why they are found in the shallow water as found in warm coral reef. Their polyps tend to be much more bigger than the tropical corals. Second statement is not covered. The second statement, coral water do not form coral reef. That is absolutely wrong, because deep sea coral grow slowly, but over time they form extensive reef. The largest reef yet discovered of the coast of the Norway, Rost Island, 40 km long, and it is the, I think, longest reef that we can found in that area. First thing, that are formed by the cold water reef, and that's why the question are asked in the vision itself. Okay, deep reef take tens of thousands of years to grow, and many deep sea coral can live for the centuries. The longevity and the slow growth rate of a deep sea coral make them extremely slow to recover from disturbances. So, if you are talking about the statement third, and what is the statement third? If you are they in the ocean only know, that are found in the deep sea. Cold water coral reef are commonly found where the current flow is accelerated. They are found on the continent shelf and also in the deep sea area with topographic highs such as the seamount, mount ridges and pinnacles. Other information regarding, if we are talking about the cold water corals, deep sea coral reef are made up of only a few coral reefs, but they provide a home for many other animals. I have already taken about that the coral, the many small species invertebrate dependent upon the coral reef, and there is the beauty of the environmental condition there. Deep sea coral reef are made up of only a few coral species, but they provide a home for many other animals. The number of the invertebrate species on reef in the northeast Atlantic Ocean can have high as that found in the shallow water tropical reef. So we cannot say that the warm water have a much more diverse. Yes, that depend upon the density and diversity can be changed, but yes. But all these area we can find the reefs there. They grow in all the world ocean basin where they form deep water havens and continent shelf and slope in ocean canyon and on sea mountain. Damage from fishing gear, specifically if you are talking about the equipment that they trawl the sea bottom, pose a major threat. Okay, we are using troll for the capturing of the fish, and basically these are doing it by the Japan and the India or the southern India, you can say. They are using the big troll, and the whole lot of the diversity that they are making the about century, because their slow growth is there, so they are obstructed the whole ecosystem by the troll. So we need make to these technologies so much environment friendly, so we can preserve these ecosystem and particularly coral reef, because they are very sensitive toward the external environment. If they are not going to the our environment, then why we go to their environment? So there is a hypocrisy you can apply there. Okay, damage from fishing gear, specific equipment that roll the sea bottom pose a major threat to the deep sea coral. Decades of bottom trawling has been shown to actually smooth. Okay, that is the whole thing you can see here. Let's see the next and the last question. Oh my god. Last question, if you are talking about what is the impact, what can be the effect of an inflation? So all three are correct. Debtor benefit in the economy, net export falls, and what is the debtor? See, the creditor is there and debtor is there, right? Creditor already give the money to the debt person, that is known as debtor. Debtor, if at the time of inflation they return the money because the money lost their value, so he is benefited there. So first is correct. Net export fall, I think that is not correct, because I think inflation net export falls. Okay, चलो देखते हैं what the explanation है. Long term project in the economy, yes, that is the main reason, because we are going to, if you are talking about the Phillips curve, at earlier point of time they are increasing with if the inflation increasing, employment also increasing, but after some point of time, and if we are reading these things, the whole employment are distributed there. The business is benefited, but in the longer term they are at the verge, or affected by the inflation in a negative way. So third is correct. Second is, I think, let's see, if you are talking about the anticipated inflation, okay, unanticipated inflation that is not expected. So first I talk it about debtor and how the creditor is benefited, and debtor is benefited from the creditor. And unexpected inflation make good produce in the economy relatively more expensive, resulting in decrease in so in the long term we can say that the export is reducing, because the inflation that have a good quality of product has a much more value now. At the same point of time, inflation make goods produced abroad relatively less expensive, so it impacted the import is less, import is less expensive, so import are benefited there in the long term if we are talking about that, but export are discouraged here. If you are talking about the third statement, yes, economy suffer, that is exactly as the import and export are changing, and what is the formula of consumption pattern, or the choosing, or making the GDP calculated in India. So consumption by the private person, public or the government, you can say, expenditure, investment. Second, number third is the export minus import. So it is the formula. If these variables are affected, so whole of the economy can be changed or affected. As the inflation rate increases and becomes more viable variable, there may be speculation in the real estate, gold and art, causing funds to flow away from the investment in plant and equipment. As the inflation rate increases and become more variable, firms may concentrate on the short term project rather than a long term project. So third is correct. By this we are ending the session. Thank you.